Here with reaction, the host of Michelle Malkin Investigates. Michelle Malkin, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm happy the president drew a line in the sand and also put the world on notice that he's not going to hold the world hostage, fire missiles over our allies, threaten Guam, and threaten South Korea without major repercussions in this case. To me, that's strength. To the left, that's weakness.
Yeah, that's right. And the themes that were hammered by President Trump of sovereignty, security, and prosperity are somehow perceived in the warped minds of all of these liberal commentators gnashing their teeth as, quote unquote, dark and dangerous, while they ignore all of the dark and dangerous evil that is looming in Iran and North Korea and Venezuela. President Trump's message on Venezuela was extremely strong, and you never hear those leftists on those other channels ever talk about the repression and the consequences of socialism on those people and the dark and dangerous influence of that. What are they used to? What do they want out of a so-called commander-in-chief? They want Hillary Clinton there, Miss Pay-for-Play foreign policy, Miss crony socialism herself, to be doing the same usual litany of genuflection, capitulation, and then rinse and then repeat with toothless sanctions as the only thing they ever wave as their threat against these existential threats to America and the world.
Yeah, that to me says it all. I mean, if he marries, and this is the same thing with Iran, where we are with North Korea today, we will be with Iran in probably a few short years. And that is this: if you take radicalism, radical mullahs in Iran, or you take this lunatic rocket man in North Korea, you marry him to weapons of mass destruction, and they can reach the continental United States. And we depleted our strategic defense during the Obama years. We don't have a lot of good options here. Now, Newt Gingrich was talking about kinetic answers last night. We could wipe out all their power. It would be the equivalent, I assume, of an electromagnetic pulse in the United States. Very damning, not an option we want to use. But the other option is taking out their nuclear sites and nuclear fallout and whatever he may do while we're doing that to South Korea or Japan or Guam. Not good options.
Not good options. And as you laid out so clearly in your Hannity history, which we all need these history lessons every night, Sean, these are raw deals that were left on the table for President Trump to have to contend with. And it was all of those years of capitulating to the malocracy, allowing them to acquire all of the dangerous weaponry and technology that now we have to deal with. And yet, defending ourselves is somehow the real threat. Do you see now the meme that's being planted on social media is that Trump somehow is the one that is threatening the lives of 25 million people? He's trying to save the lives of every peaceful person on this planet.
One last thing. I saw your tweet. We've been friends for so many years. I'm frustrated with the Republicans because there's 100 in the House. There's the 7 people that voted for full repeal in 2015, against it in 2017. So our options are limited by people that never had any intention of keeping their word. We're friends. You have had to deal with serious health issues with your daughter. And you tweeted out about Jimmy Kimmel, and I don't like to get involved in kids. I'm not saying this is perfect, but for the Americans that only have one choice in all those counties in America, for the Americans that have seen $8,000 increases in premiums, when the president does his administrative actions, and governors, I think you get twice the bang for the buck than anything from the federal government. It's not quite federalism, but it's certainly better than Obamacare. It's not the best option, but I want to see that. I am not endorsing it until I read it. But it's certainly a start to let states handle it. What do you think as somebody that has had to deal with the healthcare system on such a deep and profound level?
Yeah, let me say a couple things, Sean, and thanks for asking. We are on the same page in so many ways with our frustration at the GOP establishment and how they have failed to deliver on their core campaign promises. They vacuumed up so much of the hard-earned money of the rank and file, promising to do a straight repeal, to do the thing that they did, that they had Obama veto, and that is not what they offered. So yes, we have to contend with something that is less than perfect. And as long as we have people who are honest, who say, no, this isn't the repeal that we promised you, but it's the best that you're going to get. Ultimately, I think what this is going to do is, yes, we get the repeal of the individual and employer mandates. However, you still have the entire regulatory and subsidy structure that's causing so many of the problems that families across this nation have had to suffer because of Obamacare.
The president's going to make a big announcement on this next week, according to my sources. Administratively, he's going to make it easier for co-ops. My buddy Josh Umber, Atlas MD in Wichita, who I've been interviewing for years, and it opens up the possibility of health savings accounts. Two ideas we believe in and the Republicans should have been pushing.
No doubt. I will say this, as a mother of a chronically ill child who has had to deal with the system, who has had 3 individual health plans canceled as a direct result of the burden of Obamacare. I will say this. I know that there are many Republicans who are trying to do what they said that they were going to do, and I support each and every one of them. I also know that you've got people in Hollywood like Jimmy Kimmel who are going to demonize every last person who believes in a free market alternative to health care. And what I have to say to Jimmy Kimmel and celebrities like him is, how dare you tell us just because we have a different point of view and a different perspective on what the best delivery mechanism is for health care, that we have no compassion, that we're the cruel ones, that we're heartless. I'm sick of that. I know there are millions of families like mine that feel the same way.
Listen, you have a sick child and you lose your health care 3 times. That is unforgivable. And that's for everybody. But there are good options. I've been interviewing these people with great ideas for years, and we'll talk more about it in the days and weeks to come. Michelle, all the best to you and your family.